Well, hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. Today I'm coming to you with a little bit of a sad video. Today they're calling this afternoon the National Day of Mourning. Originally I think the intention was because we lost President Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, at the age of 100. But 2 nights ago, my old stomping grounds of Hollywood, California, Los Angeles, all of the towns, all of the villages, all the places connected, all of Los Angeles County that I was vlogging from the time that I started this vlog has seen an almost apocalypse of fires. As many of you know, when I was 18 years old, I decided, actually before that, I decided I was gonna move to Hollywood and I was gonna go chase a dream of being a musician. And when I turned 18, I got a job in a factory for 6 months so I could save up money to move, and then I moved to Hollywood and I remained in that area for 21 years. For the last 7 of those years, I was a vlogger. I started on a cell phone, just going all over Hollywood, going all over the places that really didn't cost a lot of gas to show you the amazing history and all the things that have happened there in just, you know, a short time, like 100 years. Through that time, I would show famous homes of silent movie stars, musicians, current movie stars, filming location homes, and now all of the places that I have shared as of basically this past Tuesday, it started with a small brush fire and it has really taken over the entire county. That was everything that is burning right now has a real sentimental part to me, because before I was a vlogger even, I had a delivery job where from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. I would go deliver meals that a chef had prepared, like fitness meals, and I would deliver them to people's homes. And so all of the areas affected right now were where I drove every single night. I really didn't even feel like I should make a video about this, but I've gotten so many comments and questions of people wanting to know if all my friends that I've shown in the vlogs throughout the years, if they're okay, because as soon as it started in the Pacific Palisades, and we have vlogged several things in the Palisades. I literally, the day before this all started, I was watching a video of Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady, out looking for a new home. And he was talking about how he grew up right up the street from Palisades High. That's where he went to school. He lived in that house till he was 19. And I know a lot of people make that their home in Los Angeles because it is a neighborhood. It's a lot of houses where the people know their neighbors and it feels like a community, whereas maybe the other parts, maybe Hollywood, people that are in apartments may not have that same thing. But this is a place where, you know, a lot of people, whether they be famous, not famous, homes that they inherited from their family, that's the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. Was I've been following this on the news since they started, because as soon as it broke out, I heard that it was up Pacific Coast Highway, that they were shutting down Topanga Canyon, and my best friend Michael, who I have taken you to his house in these vlogs, we've went to parties in vlogs here at his home, he was forced to evacuate. And as of now, he doesn't know if his home is still there. He originally evacuated to a friend of ours' house, and the next day, with the intense winds that they're having and the lack of water that they have, basically, you know, the government put a cap on their water, and now when they were hooking up to fire hydrants, there was no pressure to be had. So he went and stayed with a friend of ours, and the next day he was told he had to evacuate from there. So the fire started up in Pacific Palisades along the coast, and then they spread to Malibu, and then the embers kind of shot over and hit Eaton, which was Altadena, which is a little north of Pasadena. Then they were having fires up in Sylmar. They were having, yesterday evening, a fire erupted in my old stomping grounds of Hollywood. Basically, they told everyone who was between Laurel Canyon, Mulholland, the 101 and Hollywood Boulevard, that whole quadrant, they told them to evacuate. That is huge. I mean, there are so many people, they've said now it's hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced from their home. Homes have burned down, and we're talking neighborhoods. I saw that, you know, I had just written to Billy Crystal and with my through the mail autographs, and he was nice enough to send me back some autographs. And I noticed when they were just showing his neighborhood on the news, his entire neighborhood is gone. We're not talking one street, a few houses, 2 streets. We're talking 5, 6 streets worth. The entire area. All of Pacific Palisades, like the business district, it's gone. All of those houses, they're just gone. And it's disheartening to see some of the comments that I've seen online of people saying, oh, they're rich people, they'll be fine. Oh, they're Hollywood elite, they'll be fine. That's not all that lives there. I mean, hello, a lot of people that live there, you have to remember, they've been living there their whole lives. Some of the people that own houses in these communities, they're not super rich. These are people that may have inherited a home from their parents, and their parents were able to buy that home when the neighborhood wasn't expensive. Malibu was not always a multi-million-dollar community. I mean, there are people that have been there for 50, 60 years. And I mean, if you saw James Woods had to evacuate from his home, and he was telling about how he had a 94-year-old neighbor with dementia who was just left there by the caregiver. I guess the caregiver was told, hey, you know, somebody will come back and get him, and they never did. And James had it called his neighbor and said, hey, they won't let me back up to go check on him. Can you, if you're still up there, can you go please check? And they found the man in the home, and his home burned down an hour later. So this is huge. I don't think, I never thought I would see anything like this. This is gonna change Los Angeles forever. Los Angeles, the second biggest city in the United States and the second biggest business city as far as bringing in money. I think this could affect a lot, because for all the people that now are displaced, they have to figure out what they're gonna do for a home for the next several months while they deal with insurance companies and contractors trying to get them rebuilt, while simultaneously trying to carry on with their life, many of them with kids. I saw, you know, so many people up in Sylmar being evacuated, and they had horses, and they're walking their horses down the street because it's so bad that they can't drive through there. And it's just a real wake-up call, I think, for everyone, that if it can happen in Los Angeles, it can happen anywhere. And I mean, just to think, the grocery stores, the schools, the daycare, all the places that have burned down, all that have been affected. You know, I just saw a story about how there were several people that, you know, either were not able-bodied enough to get out of their home, that they're now finding their remains at the home where they have perished in the fire. There was one man who didn't want to leave his home and was out hosing it down, and his sister lived with him, and she said, hey, I'm getting out of here. And he said, well, I'm gonna stay and fight it. And she came back the next day and they found him laying in the yard, still clutching the hose, and he had perished. And what's even sadder is that they said right now, because of all the fires, they couldn't even get the coroner to go up and remove his remains. So it's a very sad situation. I saw a woman being interviewed who said that she was out having dinner at the time when the fires kind of broke out, and when she came back, they had already closed down her street. They wouldn't let her to her home, and she said, my husband's ashes were in there, so my whole home has burned up along with his ashes. So I just wanted to kind of pay my respects to what's going on there, because for 21 years it was my home. And you know, this is not something that they didn't ever foresee coming. I mean, one of the things that they heavily kind of try to impart in people that live in high-risk zones, you know, you're in the desert, it's very dry, and you have to keep up on the brush. You have to keep up on the grass. You have to make sure that that stuff's not long enough to catch fire. And in these cases, that's what's happened. And it's, you know, it literally only takes one. It takes one palm tree to catch on fire for the embers to shoot off and to catch another home on fire. And, you know, it's just sad that some of these people, like I said, have lived in these homes for 50, 60 years. The memories of their entire family, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas they've ever had that they can remember is there. And I think we just need to all kind of, you know, I hate to say it, but just send a prayer out there for everyone's well-being. I mean, I saw, doesn't affect just celebrities. You know, I've seen like John Goodman lost his home, Billy Crystal lost his home. You know, several people have lost their home, but my pastor, who was one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, he lost his home. His home was torched to the ground. And on top of all of this, when people are trying to come together to help each other, there are people out there, you know, at first I kind of jokingly said to a friend of mine, well, at least with everything burning down, we shouldn't have to worry about looters because there'll be nothing left to take. But there are now people out there starting these in areas where, you know, like I saw one was being started in Venice so people could loot. And the city, the county said they're going to take that very seriously. If they catch anybody, even in the neighborhoods that doesn't belong there, anybody looting, breaking in, doing anything, they're going to throw the book at them. That's not traditionally a stance that Los Angeles takes. They tend to, in my experience, be kind of lenient on a lot of that activity, but it's nice to see that they are taking this seriously, because this is going to be a mental, this is post-traumatic that people will be dealing with for a very long time. And as of now, it is not contained. The winds have been so bad that at this point, anything could happen. So that's why I wanted to make this video, is just to kind of make people realize it's not just about the rich people of Los Angeles. These are normal people. You know, for everybody that you have heard of that's rich in Los Angeles, there is probably more that match that are people that were born and raised there. They work paycheck to paycheck. They don't have a lot of belongings. They don't have the money to leave if they wanted to. And now they've been forced to go to a hotel that they may not be able to afford. They've lost what belongings they may have had, their family photos, all those things. Those of us who are not dealing with that, we're very lucky. And, you know, even on a little like side note, much smaller, I was telling Scott Michaels, I said, I hate to say it, but, you know, even beyond all of the people that have lost their homes and everything, it's even sadder also in a separate stance to think of all the history that is being lost, the historical buildings, moon shadows, and all the historical restaurants that people would frequent in the PCH, up the Pacific Coast Highway, and the priceless art that people had in their homes, the movie memorabilia, all the things that now are potentially lost, in addition to all of the heart-wrenching grief that these people are going through. So I just wanted to send out a little bit of a, you know, some positivity towards the people that are dealing with that, because I messaged our friend Vicki Hamilton last night. She said she had her bags packed in case they evacuated her area, and she's very close to where they were. My friend Sarah posted a video today saying that the fires in Runyon Canyon literally were 4 buildings away from her building, and that even though she evacuated, everything was okay and that she was safe and all that. And so people are very lucky right now. And I think this is just a good time for us all to come together, you know, despite the political stuff, you know, and the who should have done what and this should. In reality, you know, almost anywhere you are, a natural disaster or something can happen that you never think will happen. And right now, Los Angeles is getting something that I don't think anybody could have ever imagined, the amount of destruction. So I just wanted to send out some positive vibes, and I hope that all the people watching this will do the same. And, you know, I know that we have lost some really, you know, historical homes. A lot of the homes that I vlogged when I lived there, I know now are no longer there, but that was always from the very beginning. My purpose in doing this channel was to document the places that things happened, the places that people lived, where memories and things like that happen before they're gone. And I, honest to God, I never thought that I would see a day where entire communities would be gone. But I mean, you just watch the news and it's literally entire communities. So be well, everyone. Send out your positive vibes, and I will see you next vlog.